into it. Let's get into it, man. You guys just give me, keep the music playing. We'll keep the music playing. I'm going to let me clean this desk off just a little bit. We're going to get into it today. It's going to be a quick live stream. We got somewhere to go, but you guys stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Bro, that lo-fi be hitting, don't it? That lo-fi be hitting. That be hitting different, you heard? All right, let's test this audio out before we get into this morning cook session. Mic check. Mic check. All right, so yeah, we're good. We good. We good. Let's get into it this morning. Hopefully you guys been having a good you guys had a good work week. Work wasn't too bad this week. You know, we got Father's Day coming up tomorrow. Actually, I feel a rant coming on about that Father's Day stuff. So y'all stay tuned for that. We'll see how that goes. But I feel a rant coming on. So today we want to talk about women add unnecessary complexity to the workplace. They make things at work way too complex through their emotions, their lack of emotional control. Then, of course, you know, they're more likely to do a lot of crazy things at work. Like, guys, also, before we get into this, I need you guys to be socially aware. What do you mean, Miles, be socially aware? So, yesterday, I seen some of the wildest thing at work. So, while I was at work, um, you know, never be too friendly with your coworkers and all of that. You guys are there to make money. If you weren't there, if you weren't getting paid, you know, we'd all do something different. Let's be real. Um, Let me write this quick note down. All right, so never get too comfortable with your coworkers. You know, these guys, they might be good colleagues, they might be good people, but never get too friendly at work, right? Because yesterday I seen some of the wildest things. I'm like, you know, you're lucky that this woman doesn't want to get you fired because she could definitely play the victim. And the situation was this, right? So they were kind of playfully arguing back and forth and all that. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. People do that in the workplace all the time. That's their way of, you know, I guess, being funny or humorous to each other. And then the person goes into, you know, he lightly puts his hands around her neck, strangling her, like, come on, woman, I didn't told you this 1,000 times. And I was just sitting back thinking, like, bruh, this goes back to that social awareness piece. Like, bro, like, Do you know what time you're in? Like this woman could go to HR right now. And unfortunately, I would be a witness and I would have to, it was like me and a couple other people in there, and we would have had to got you fired. Like, bro, like you can't be that friendly and put your your hands on women like that, bro. You're playing with fire. Like that could have went left really badly. And luckily she's cool about it. But even if I was a woman, I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have still said something because you don't put your hands around people's, neck and all. That's insane to me. Only way I could do that was if you had a little bit more work and I would be happy with it. But you have a hard day and you don't want me working on your day. But, shout out to you, Guillermo Blanco. But guys, like you get me too. These people will go to HR, like women will get you fired for the most minuscule things. Now that would have been an actual legitimate reason for you to get fired, for him to get fired then. And so you guys are playing with fire at work when you guys are playing with these women. Don't play with these women. Give them a hug, a side hug. Say hello. How you doing today? Move on. That's it. That's it. Do not get too comfortable because when you get too comfortable, you're gonna say something crazy or you're gonna do something stupid, and then you're gonna get fired. But there is only one man in today's society that women respect, and it is the man that pays them. What do you mean, Miles? So, women have been conditioned through feminism and all these, to be career driven, to think like gold diggers. And let's be real, I mean, gold digging, every woman has a level of gold digger in her. So let's not just get that twisted. Every woman has a level of gold digger inside of her, but it just varies, right? It's levels to it. Some women will only deal with you if you're only making money. And we're inching closer and closer and closer to that point. This is why I was watching Better Bachelor and he said like, it's not even the 80-20 rule anymore. The overcorrection has gotten so bad that it's 95-5. Women only want the 5% man. And I mean, it is what it is, but the guy that falls into that 5% role is typically the employer, the boss, right? The person that pays them. This is why these women go on the internet. They're like, if you're not giving me no money, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be cold approach if you ain't giving me no money. So they're only concerned about money, right? Now, whether they're lying or not, that's a different story. But these women are money driven. So feminism has done a number on us. Feminism has seriously done a number for it's brainwashed women into making money, to getting out of the household. Feminism is really destroying any society that has that feminist ideology. Why? Because the birth rates in those countries, including the West, are deteriorating because women are pushing off their baby making years until their late 20s, early 30s. And so societies that have feminism, they're going to struggle. They're going to really die, if we're being honest. Um, so feminism is a huge problem now. Is anybody trying to correct it? Is anybody trying to culturally change the stuff? Hell no, which is the problem. But women have been conditioned to be career driven. And this has been the agenda for the whole time. They want to push these women into an agenda to be career driven, which pushes them into education. And depending on what education they get, that leads to higher wages, more wages than men. They've conditioned and really made college really just a matriarchal thing because even if you're a man, you're going to go to a class where you at least hear a liberal woman talking about, the patriarchy and all of this stuff. And so you're going to, as a man, when you go to college, it's going to be infested with women, mostly liberal women, and they're going to be indoctrinated even further. But the thing is, like, we don't want to admit it, but education leads to higher wages if you get the right degree. Now, a lot of these women just have debt. They just have debt, and they're going to be debt slaves for the rest of their life. But That's why they get out of college, especially if they're going to these higher college, UT Austin, Harvard, all the Ivy Leagues, Berkeley, John Hopkins, all these higher end colleges, and getting nursing degrees or whatever, they're going to be making more than an average man, right? We're in a true matriarchy where women get a lot more opportunities than men, which is why you guys right now are struggling to find a job outside of blue collar work. You know, we've created a workplace where there's certain jobs as a man you will not get. You know, if you're not an attractive blonde, blue-eyed woman, with the rack, you're not going to be working at the front desk of the banking industry. You're not going to be working in certain places. You're not going to get certain opportunities because the women, it's specifically saved for women. And since women entered the workplace, well, some men were going to lose out of jobs. And so, feminism causes a lot of problems. It does. And so I was at this place recently. This is why I say women add unnecessary complexity to the workplace. So I was at this place, and the women there, they were obviously having a terrible day. And instead of having the emotional intelligence and the emotional control to, you know, not bring their personal life to work and take it out on the customers, what do? They come to work and they take it out on everybody, to the point to where, as a person dealing with them, as me in my position, the other people there, it was so displeasing. It was just like, wow, this is the worst customer service. This is the worst place. We're sitting there talking like this is the worst place we've ever been. It's because women don't have any emotional intelligence, emotional control. And women, that they like to fight that point that they're not emotional, but they know they're emotional. They know they take their emotional baggage everywhere they go. And so, as men, we're not like that. We understand that, hey, you're here coming from another business for business. You didn't come here for, and plus we know the bigger picture. We want you guys to keep coming back. So we need to give you guys good customer service, give you guys, so we could be dying inside as a man and still execute properly on the business dealings, because we understand people are only there for what we want as a business, what we're delivering something or whatnot. Women don't have that intelligence, or at least a good portion of them don't. Some of them do, most of them don't. And so they add unnecessary complexity whenever they're overly emotional dealing with them at work. When a woman wakes up in the morning and she forgets, she spills her coffee on her dress, that ruins her whole day. When somebody yells at her boss, or boss yells at her, that ruins her whole day. So they take their disgruntled, overly emotional problems out to their other coworkers, potentially causing different problems amongst them, uh, taking it out against customers. This is the catty nature of women. And then because it's crazy also too when it comes to women in the workplace, you think that women that have careers, you think they would understand what it takes to uh, bring home a good wage and respect men for what it takes to get any kind of money, how hard it is to get any kind of income and to keep it and to manage it. But no, these women have no sense of any of that. They'll be having good paying jobs and have a house and be in student loan debt and have credit card debt and still be going to Turks and Caicos. They'll have all this money, but they still expect you to spend all the money on the first date. These women are absolutely, don't understand money, don't understand what it takes to get money, even though it's hypocritical because they're career driven. They should know, yet they still don't. The peculiar nature of women in the workplace. And then let's not even pretend, right? And then you have to be aware of women that work in these workplaces where it's just men around. Like, why would as a woman would you become a police officer? Why would as a woman you want to become security? Why would as a woman you want to be a construction worker, be in the auto sales, and be around all mechanics and men all day? Why is that? Because women don't understand whenever you're around these predominantly men spaces, you just inserted yourself in the lion's den. And then, men and women, because let's be real, you guys watching this live stream, you guys all know, maybe you guys have participated in it, or maybe you damn sure have seen it, that whenever the women get into these workplaces, they're flirting with other men. Now, granted, I'm not saying they do anything sexual with them, but they're definitely flirting. They're definitely going back and forth with these men at work. You know, I was talking to my barber recently, and he said this. He was like, the stuff that I see here at work, if any of their husbands knew how open and how much they communicated with other men at work and with the conversations that they had, it would blow up the husband's world. They would have no idea. And so that's what you're dealing with whenever you guys have women, which most of you will have a woman that goes out into the workplace. She's going to be flirting with other men. She's going to be around other men. And let's be real here. Sometimes the boss, sometimes the upper management, sometimes those guys are high performers and they're in shape and they're good looking. They make more money. And so her hypergamy is going to kick in at some level. Now, granted, she's not going to always sleep with him, but if the opportunity is there, plus whenever you're at work, people say, which is true, depending on, your work schedule, but you're more at work than you are with your family. So there's a lot of time for people at work to get familiar and to get trust built up. And we say familiarity breeds contempt, but in reality, you're not going to ever sleep with a woman if she doesn't trust you at some level. She's not comfortable around you at some level. So she continues to see these men at work. She gets used to them. She gets comfortable to them. They get talking and flirty and then all this stuff. Then here's what happens. You guys at home, you have an argument. You had a bad week of just arguing and problems. Guess what? When she goes to happy hour, now with her boss, now you have to be worried because, and then also, this is a red flag for all of you men watching this. This is going to help you out and have a better understanding of the world. So, if you come home and, whenever you ask your woman how's her day been, and she always complains about this certain guy at work, she always complains about the same guy, that's the guy that she's going to cheat with, and she's been cheating with emotionally this whole time. Like that old song says, there's a thin line between love and hate. So the person that she hates typically is the man she loves, because when it comes to women just, if they don't like you, if they don't want you, they completely ignore you. They don't give you any chance. They quick to give a restraining order. They're quick to get you out of the box. They don't respond to you. They ignore you. They get HR on you. So if they don't like you, they're going to make it obvious, right? So if they're liking the advances, you're going to have a problem. And so, it's really a pity once you break all of this stuff down, it begins to make sense as to why women cheat so much and infidelity occurs so much at work. And then it begins to make sense as to why maybe women shouldn't be in the workplace at all. Maybe they should work remote. Maybe they should just work around a whole bunch of women so you don't have to worry about these problems. Because I promise you, you guys watching this right now and you guys watching on the replay, you're going to run into these problems. And you're going to have a choice to make because you're going to get married and you're going to have 2 kids. And that's going to be her getaway. Her job's going to be her getaway to get away from the family, to decompress, to go to happy hour with her coworkers and get a couple drinks on the down low that are on for the cheap. And so all of these are just another vehicle for women to cheat on you, for women to disrespect you, because you know, a woman will say, "I don't want to cook today. We should order in." A woman will say, I don't want to do this or that today." And you're like, "I don't want to go to work today. I don't want to deal with my boss today. I hate my job. I've hated for the past 5 years. What are you talking about? You don't want to do this and that." And it's usually some task that takes 30 minutes max, right? Women complain about the most irrelevant things. And so you're like, okay. And then you let it slide. Meanwhile, the boss at her job can tell her, "Hey, you need to work the next 2 weeks for 12 hours a day." And she'll do it. "Hey, I need you to go over here to this plant in Arizona for the week. Can you go do that?" And she go do it. She'll do whatever her boss needs her to do. But when it comes to you as the man of the household, the husband, the father, you get ignored. You get disrespected. You don't always get what you want. And guess what? This is the kicker. You're the man that's going to protect her when danger comes. You're the man that's going to take care of the kids. You're the one that's financing her situation. You're the one that's going to take care of her when she gets uh, have ill health. But still, yet she respects the boss man more than she respects you. You want to talk about a slap in the face, and women act like they don't know why they're single. It's because you're illogical. You respect your careers more than you respect your man. You respect your boss more than you respect your husband. Your boss has more of your ear, has more of your duty, your labor than your husband. And guess what? When these women get into these situations, what happens? The boss, what does he do? He pumps and dumps her. And now she loses on both ends. If the guy is a strong man, he's going to find out that she's been cheating with the boss and he's going to leave her. So, which means what? She's going to lose out on the marriage and family that she wanted. And depending on, who knows about it at work, even if the husband knows, he could tell her about the work, go to HR at the work, and then that could be a conflict of interest. And then of course, that she can get fired from work. So, but it's just a pity, guys, that women respect their jobs, respect the boss more than they respect their boyfriend, their father, their husband. This is just how backwards society is right now. Nothing in society makes any sense right now. This is just how upside down the world is. So women only respect the men that pay them. But here's the thing that women don't understand. If you're dealing with sugar daddies, if you're dealing with these rich men that have these boats that are on the golf courses, don't be so arrogant as to think that you're the only woman he's paying for. And of course, that's just a temporary fix. He can pull those resources away because he's done, screwing you. He's done screwing you and go get another woman and do the same thing to her. And then when he repeats the cycle, which is why these women always, it's getting to the point to where you're either going to have to settle for a guy, you're either going to have to uh, be a concubine or be wife number 5 to these guys, or just be accepting and die alone. There's only 3 options women have today because it's just how backwards the society has gotten. It's just how stupid dating has gotten. And so when you guys just beware, go back and watch this live stream. When you guys are dealing with women at the workplace, do not become friends with them. Do not be overly friendly with them because even if you do all that, they can still make something up and get you fired from HR. I've dealt with it personally. I made a video about that. Um, and then once you guys get into relationships with these women, and you guys probably aren't going to be in that range of making, all of you guys aren't going to be in that range of making enough money to where your income supports the entire household off of one income, to where she can only work uh, remotely or whenever she's part time. So whenever your woman gets into the workplace and you encounter these problems, just know that there's a possibility that she could cheat, that she's flirting at work, she's having unnecessary conversations and meetings with men, and that she possibly respects her man more, or respects her boss man more than she respects you. You guys should test this out. And you should confront these women when they come up, when they talk about this crazy stuff. They're like, why are you so comfortable doing what he tells you to do, but you don't want to follow my directions? And so women gonna follow a man somewhere. They're gonna follow the government man, they're gonna follow the boss man, they're gonna follow anybody, but they're gonna follow everybody, any man except their own man. They disrespect their own man, which is completely ludicrous. Now, that is my live stream. I have to be somewhere today. I appreciate you guys coming in here. As you guys come in here and as you guys are watching the replay, please do not hesitate to hit the like button to push this information and stream out to everybody else. I appreciate you guys coming in here, spending time with me this morning. Hopefully you guys got some good value out of this. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good day. I'll see you guys on the live stream tomorrow. Be on the lookout for me tomorrow. Peace. What's going on, Mike David? What's going on? You caught me at the end of it, man. You're going to have to come back and watch the stream, man. I'm about to head out. I got to head somewhere. But I appreciate you guys. See you.